Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to learn English through a beautiful story, one about love, forgiveness, and second chances. I believe that stories are not only a wonderful way to practice language, but they also teach us valuable life lessons. Let's begin. Any minute now, Michael would be pulling into the driveway to pick up Johnny and Cameron for their weekend with him. I took one last look around the house. The lemon-scented cleaner still hung in the air, the floors sparkled, and the kitchen counters gleamed under the soft glow of the afternoon sun. Even the laundry was folded, put away. No sign of the usual chaos that accompanied life with two boys. I chuckled to myself, wondering what Michael would think of the transformation. He would probably assume I would hired help. And maybe he'd wonder how I even had the time or money to do it. Our marriage had ended 7 years ago, cleanly on paper, though the emotional residue lingered like the scent of something once familiar. We were civil, always for the boys, but not much beyond that. We didn't argue anymore, and we didn't linger in conversations longer than necessary. But deep down, I harbored no bitterness, maybe even a touch of gratitude. Time had given me clarity. Michael had always deserved more than what I would been able to offer back then. I met Michael when we were just kids, teenagers, full of spark, and the belief that love could conquer anything. I still remember that day, me, my sister, and a group of friends loitering outside a diner, when Michael drove by in his beat-up but cool car. My sister dared me to call out to him, and of course, I took the challenge. That bold little moment was the beginning of everything. We fell fast and hard. That kind of love, the kind that makes your heart race and makes the world feel smaller and brighter at the same time, it burned strong. We married in 1991, had the big wedding I would always dreamed of, the kind of event you never want to end. But real life has no use for confetti and cake. The honeymoon glow faded quickly. I was still young and restless, craving excitement, connection, attention. I wanted nights out, music, laughter, freedom. Michael, on the other hand, was already settling in. Steady, responsible, a man who liked quiet evenings and early bedtimes. Our rhythms were out of sync, and when the boys came along, 2 years apart, I found myself floundering. I loved them, but I wasn't cut out for the stay-at-home life. I needed more. So I got a job at a bank, made new friends, and started going out after work. At first, it was just to blow off steam. But eventually, it became an escape. From the house, from Michael, from the life that was quietly suffocating me. Michael wasn't blind. One night, after I stumbled in too late, we had it out, loud and raw. He accused me of being afraid of commitment, of being jealous of the normalcy he came from. I froze. He was right. I had never known stability, not since my father died when I was 9. Michael had grown up in a world I couldn't relate to, supportive parents, calm routines, emotional safety. I suppose that's what drew me to him in the first place. Still, I left. Not just the argument, but eventually the marriage. I felt like I had no choice. We separated, divided our belongings, and a year later it was official. Our boys split their time between us. Michael handled the logistics like everything else in his life, with quiet dignity. Meanwhile, I threw myself into work and nightlife, convincing myself this was what I would wanted all along. But nights out started to feel empty. My so-called friends didn't fill the void. The boys were growing, and I began to see it on their faces. That quiet sadness when they had to switch homes. That longing for something neither of us had managed to provide. Then one day, the boys casually mentioned that Michael had been taking them to church. "It's actually kind of nice, Mom," Johnny said. I brushed it off. Church was never really my thing. I would gone a few times with Michael when we were married, but I didn't fit in. Everyone seemed so perfect, so unlike me. Still, something shifted. One random Sunday, I woke up with a strange tug on my heart. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't loneliness. It was something quieter, deeper, like an invitation. I grabbed a phone book. Yes, a real one. Looked up the closest church and shook the boys awake. That morning, we walked into a modest sanctuary and found a spot in the back row. I half expected someone to tap me on the shoulder and tell me I didn't belong. But the preacher's words cut straight through my fear. He talked about grace, about a sacrifice made for everyone, even for the woman hiding in the back row with her sons. And so we kept coming, week after week. Slowly, I started to change. The restlessness that used to drive me began to ease. I even started reading the Bible before bed, swapping bar hopping for prayer. One night, something unexpected happened. I felt led to pray for Michael, not for us to get back together. I would never even considered that. I prayed for him to find a kind, faith-filled woman, someone who would be everything I hadn't been. I prayed this every night, and with each prayer, the bitterness inside me lifted. Then came the knock at the door. Michael stood on the porch, just like always. Only this time, there was something different in his eyes. Nervousness, maybe even hope. "I need to talk to you," he said. I let him in. He looked around the tidy kitchen and raised an eyebrow. I poured him a glass of iced tea with lemon, and we sat. He hesitated, then said quietly, "I've been praying." "A lot, and I talked to my pastor. He thinks I should ask you if you'd consider counseling for us." I stared at him. Did I hear that right? Before I could think, I said, "Okay, sure." Counseling wasn't easy. The pastor was a big man with a gentle spirit who didn't push either of us. We unpacked our wounds, talked about what had gone wrong. We agreed to date again. No physical contact, no pressure. Just conversations, walks, dinner, movies. It was awkward at first, but then it wasn't. I found myself looking forward to seeing Michael again, laughing at his dry humor, admiring his steady ways. 6 months passed. One evening, the pastor gave us an assignment to write letters of gratitude to one another. No complaints, just thanks. And we had to read them aloud. Michael arrived that night with his letter folded in his hand. The boys were home, sprawled out on the couch. I joined him on the floor. I started. "Dear Michael," I said, "I'm so thankful for you. You have been an amazing father. You've always been fair, even when I didn't deserve it. And if I have any time left on this earth, I want to spend it with you." Michael read his. "Dear Michelle," he began, "you are the only woman I have ever loved." He didn't need to say more. I felt it in every word. He reached for my hands, first time in years. "Lord," he prayed, "show us what your will is for us." Two more small hands joined ours, Johnny and Cameron, pressing close, one of them still sticky with peanut butter. I breathed in the moment and felt whole for the first time in years. Then Michael looked at me, eyes steady. "Michelle, will you marry me again?" Tears welled up. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes." Only this time, I wasn't chasing excitement or running from fear. I knew what I was saying yes to: love, forgiveness, redemption, and the family that had always been mine, just waiting for me to come home.